Hello dear viewer, Murdoch X here to talk to you about the software of the late 90s. Yes, it was the dial-up days of the internet, and even though we told ourselves that 56 kilobytes per second was a good speed, those modems were never that fast. Warning, the following video contains comedy about topics such as drugs, abuse, suicide, ravers, and harsh judgment on your crappy taste in music. Also, swearing. Seriously though, it gets dark. You've been warned. But first, an introduction to Tamagotchi. I know they said Tamagotchi in the commercials, but it's a Japanese toy and Tamago means egg, like the egg shape of the toy, so I refuse to change my pronunciation. Now then, Tamagotchi was the beginning of the virtual pet craze, and in this original version, you had a few ways of interacting with said pet. You could feed it, you could play with it, you could turn the lights on or off, you could clean up after it, otherwise it might get sick, and finally there was medicine to give it to cure that sickness. If you were able to keep your pet alive, it would change into one of several creatures. I never had one growing up, but I played with friends. It was a cool toy and it started a new genre of games, but this video isn't about that fun and playful electronic toy from 1997. No, it's about its bastard child from the dark corner of the internet known as GeoCities. Actually, I have no idea where his old website was, but this guy is still active on the internet and has it archived. I'll link to it in the description below. Speaking of his website, before we jump into the game, Friday and I will reenact the FAQ found there. Where can I get a Tamagothi?
Unfortunately, the official Tamagothi homepage is a result of too much sun, or too little as the case may be. Therefore, Tamagothis don't actually exist, and this means that they're not available in any store, online, or through tantric ritual. Sorry, deal with it.
You lie! There's an awesome program made by Berto Alvaro right here.
Oh, you mean that Tamagothi? Well, yeah, actually, it is available there, currently in perpetual beta release, but it's still not available in stores, really.
I own and operate my own huge toy manufacturing company, and I've just taken enough psychoactive drugs to really believe that the Tamagotchi is the next big craze. I want to give you large amounts of money just for the right to use Tamagothi. How do I do that?
Please contact me. Remember to have a copy of your psychiatric release papers at hand, though.
In the infinite number of alternate dimensions where Tamagothis are enjoyed by children everywhere, what do they look like?
They're little plastic coffins with a screen in the middle, a speaker underneath, and 3 little buttons.
And what colors do they come in? Hypothetically.
So the original limited release colors were black, jet, and ebony, with a rare 1 in 100 colored onyx. So this caused a great deal of confusion among collectors. The first unlimited release came in black with silver trim and crimson buttons, crimson with silver trim and black buttons, silver with crimson trim and black buttons, silver with black trim and crimson buttons, black with crimson trim and silver buttons, crimson with black trim and silver buttons, and an extremely rare 1 in 500 colored avocado. Collectors were extremely displeased.
Just as a reminder, we're talking about alternate universes here, and Tamagotchi toys don't exist in our universe, right?
Right.
So how do you know all of this?
Because I can see through time.
I have discovered a method for traveling sideways through time by shaving my body hair into arcane symbols. Therefore, it is possible that I could bring large shipments of Tamagothis through the boundaries of reality, for mass sale in the United States and abroad, and would like to give you large amounts of money simply for the territorial rights to do so.
Well, please contact me telepathically, and be sure to have a copy of your psychiatric release papers on hand.
I am writing you from an alternate universe where Tamagothis are quite popular with us youngsters. What I want to know is, how do you know when your Tamagotchi is dead?
It stops moving.
That's it? No little angel or rotting ghost or corpse or anything?
Nope, that's it.
Are you aware of the fact that you misspelled ephedrine?
Yes, I'm aware.
I inherited a primitive clockwork Tamagotchi from an ancestor. I was left a letter explaining how it worked, etc. The last paragraph of this letter mentions Easter egg functions. where you hold several of the buttons down at once and weird things happen. Unfortunately, the last part of the letter was burned away by eldritch fires of the damned. How do I get my Tamagotchi to produce the mysterious Gotha babe? And how do I get her to take her clothes off? That's a question from Nikolai.
What you have is actually a very early variation on the Tamagothi known as the Cenobite. Cenobites very closely resemble Tamagothis, except they tend to have more piercings and less hair. Unlike Tamagothis, Cenobites actually did receive a limited distribution and are still available from certain vagrants in seedy Moroccan cafes. The Easter egg feature, which your ancestor hinted at, is a different version of the Murphy Gothi, where instead of a little Murphy Gothi appearing on your screen and singing to you about fish cakes, a dozen tiny hooks shoot out of the device and embed themselves in your skin. Unfortunately, this painful little surprise tended to cut down on the replay value of the Cenobite, and despite a quick retooling wherein the tiny hooks were replaced by a mechanical vampire spider, which was reissued as the Cenobite, sales continued to rapidly dwindle and our company was forced to sink into torpor, where we stayed until awakened by the death rock band next door and the incessantly beeping virtual pets in the house across the street.
Oh, okay, what about the naked thing?
Okay, about the naked thing. To make your Tamagotchi remove its clothes, simply enter the nude code from Tomb Raider 2.
What nude code?
I hardly think this is the forum in which to discuss such things.
Who is this Murphy anyway?
Okay, so Peter Murphy was, and is again, resurrected band. How goth is that? The lead singer of the rock band Bauhaus. Most people in the know would agree that he is the gothest man alive. So your other top contenders for gothest man or woman alive would include David Bowie, Robert Smith, Susie Sue, Andrew Eldritch, but only before he suffered the severe head trauma and decided that the Sisters of Mercy needed to sound more like Poison. And then Daniel Dax, Edward Caspel, even though he's never been seen. Johnny Cash, and Jesus. Dead or alive status depending.
Hey, speaking of Edward Caspel, you never mentioned the legendary pink dots anywhere. What gives?
Well, actually, I couldn't really think of any category the dots easily fit into, so I thought I'd just mention them here instead.
You know, you didn't mention the majority of the bands on the Cleopatra record label either.
You're right. I didn't.
Hey, what's with this strange new rumor that there are 2 new breeds of Tamagotchi, and that you've started a sequel project?
You mean the rumor I started by posting that question?
Yeah.
Poke around, I'm sure you'll turn up something.
That's a fantastic FAQ and I had to put it in the video, but on to the game. When playing Tamagotchi, you have 6 buttons and a handful of warning lights. A new Tamagotchi begins its life as a throbbing skull, but at the stroke of midnight, the skull bursts open and out pops your own little baby Tamagotchi. Well, Baddie Gothi, which then grows into Baby Gothi, but from here your decisions in raising your virtual Gothi child could result in Mopey Gothi or Perky Gothi. So let's go back and talk about those buttons and see what could lead to this possible divergence in Gothi evolution. During your child's teen years, did you rely on smack, aka heroin, to keep him or her calm? Or did you feed your child speed to keep them happy? Or did you possibly go the other route and beat them when they showed signs of disapproval in your child-rearing abilities? And finally, there's the lights. Did you leave them in the dark to become lonely and unhappy? You can give them speed to keep their spirits up, or you can let them have a normal sleeping schedule by turning on the lights occasionally. Too much of anything will expire your Tamagotchi. Warning lights will flash if you give them too much of a drug or if their health gets too low. There's also an angst warning signal. Don't forget to use speed or the lights when this warning comes up. They will take their own lives if you push them too hard. Okay, this game was hilarious back when I was 16, but as an adult, this is uncomfortable to talk about. It doesn't age well, but let's keep going. I'm here to tell you about this game, damn it. I solemnly swear as a YouTube game review channel that I will tell you all about obscure video games and swallow my awkwardness for the sake of humanity. So let's go ahead and start a new Tamagotchi. What's a good Gothi name? You shall be named Lucian. Okay, let's try to give a well-rounded amount of smack, speed, and beatings this time. I keep getting masochistic industrial-gothy when I play this, so I'm trying to avoid using beatings to relieve angst this time around. There, we'll just feed him some speed. Look at him hopping around. He's adorable. I don't want his health meter to stay up too high, but I also don't want him to be too slow. It seems like keeping them hopped up on speed makes them evolve quicker, but maybe I'm just imagining that. Whoops, too much speed. I'll lay off of that for a while. There's the angst meter going off. Speed is out, so let's try turning on the lights for a bit. There we go, back to normal. Now let's go ahead and give him some smack to slow him down a little, and some beatings to keep him from getting too angsty. Whoops, too slow. Little more speed. There, that's better. More light. I just gave you light. Fine. Yeah, that health meter kind of glitches out like that sometimes, but it doesn't seem to affect anything. Also, notice the nice wooden coffin structure the Tamagotchi lives in. Okay, back to taking care of this little bastard. Turn off the lights and a healthy dose of some everything. I'm hoping to go down the mopey gothy line, so let's focus on some smack and some beatings. Motherfucker, I got an industrial gothy again? Remember that masochist comment that I mentioned before? That's what that error sound is. It's demanding a beating. This keeps happening to me. Here, let's read their description. If you beat your mopey gothy more than is necessary, you may end up with an industrial gothy. Industrial gothys are often very confused because they can't decide on what kind of socio-political lifestyle they want to lead. Industrial gothys are easily distinguished by their profusion of body piercings, bizarre head shavings, and their use of broken computer parts as jewelry. Industrial gothys like to listen to Skinny Puppy, Einsturm, Niebertown, and Throbbing Gristle. At least we didn't end up with Teeny Gothy. Here's its description. If you leave your perky goth in the dark for too long and don't expose it to enough good music, then it will become a teeny gothy. Teeny gothies are also known as preppy gothies, quantum gothies, or wannabe gothies. Teeny gothies are characterized by their general lack of any higher brain function and outfits that appeared in last week's 17 magazine. Teeny gothies will often listen to Marilyn Manson, Nine Inch Nails, and Typo Negative, and will look at you blankly when you mention the Sisters of Mercy, Bahawas, or Susie and the Banshees. If you do have the misfortune to end up with a teeny gothy, you would be better off to press the euthanize button located on the back of the unit and start again. Oh, 1997. So that's Tamagotchi. There are other possible routes to take to unlock other variants like the romantic gothy or the punky gothy, but if you decide to get all crazy and feed your gothy a bunch of speed and flash the lights on and off, you end up with the anti-goth, the raver. No! As for Lucian, he was too much to handle, so I gave him a bunch of smack and he overdosed. So that's Tamagotchi, a silly little virtual pet from 1997, which by the way is the same year that we got GoldenEye 007 on the Nintendo 64 and Final Fantasy VII for PS1. Tamagotchi is a fun little game, and unless you have to describe it for other people, which is awkward. I learned that today, so thanks for watching. Subscribe for more awkwardness.
Goodbye.